Hi, everybody. This is part 4 of my story, and it picks up just where I left off in part 3. I had returned home from my mission after having served for 14 months. Things were okay for the first couple of weeks, and then I crashed really hard after kind of the excitement of being home and being reunited with my family and friends kind of ended. I felt accomplished that I had made it as far as I did in my mission, having thought within that first day even on my mission that I was going to end up coming home again and that it was going to be a quick return. But I ended up serving much longer than I had originally planned, and I was really grateful for this. But the depression hit really hard, and at this time I was again fighting some suicidal ideation, and days were tough. It was hard to get through. Most of my friends were serving missions at this time. They were gone or had moved on in some way. This was just a couple years after high school. People kind of stick around for a little bit and then move off for school and do different things. And I felt very lonely. I felt very hopeless, as though things wouldn't get better. I had tried for so long, and I think at this point I was upset. I was mad at God. I was mad at my situation, and I really wasn't sure what to do. I ended up going to see another psychiatrist to get another opinion about medications. He decided that we should start trying some still, and I thought, okay. So this time I felt really lonely, and I wasn't just lonely, I was angry. I was mad at God. I was mad at my situation. I couldn't believe that it had been close to 5 years now, and things just weren't getting better for me. In fact, things were as bad as they had ever been. And I was really pushed at this point. It just gave everything I had to just keep going, to keep working. I made changes in my life, not because I wanted to, but because I had to. It was survival at this point. I had to change my environment. I had to change the way I thought about things. I had to change what kind of music I would listen to, what kind of feelings those would bring for me. I had to be so careful. I remember at this time, I had been working at a care center. I worked with medications a lot. I was responsible for dispensing the medications. And I remember just thinking how relieving it would be for me to, have some morphine or something. I never put serious thought to it, but just the fact that I was even a little bit tempted was just so scary to me, that my life was kind of coming to this point, and that I felt like, my future just looked bleak. There was nothing for me to look forward to. I didn't know if things were gonna work out ever. All I had was just a desire to be better, to get better, and faith in God and a loving and supporting family. Again, another song. You know me, you don't mind waiting. You just can't show me, but God, I'm praying that you'll find me and that you'll see me, that you'll run and never tire. Desire, desire, desire to get better. Desire to have my life back. I started seeing another psychiatrist, somebody that was a medical doctor, and we started medications again. And I tried so many during this 1.5 year period after my mission. And as many of you know, or may have even experienced yourself, These medications can take months to find out whether it's even going to work or not. And just to name a few that I tried Lexapro, Effexor, Lamictal, Gabapentin, Guanfacine, Lyrica, Seroquel, Protoline, Ambien, Lunesta, Paxil, and that's just to name a few, besides the ones I had already tried on my mission. And many of those are off-label. They're not even proven to help with anxiety. But we were desperate, and I was desperate, and we tried anything that could help, anything that could relieve symptoms. And some of them took forever to find out, like Gabapentin specifically. I think I tried for about 5 months before I went through the whole dosage range and knew that it wasn't doing anything for me. It wasn't helping me at all. I had so many questions about my future and what was going to happen. And I just had to pack them all up. I had to pack up all those questions and just keep moving forward. But this time was so hard because I was so depressed, and like I've stated before, my personality was not there. It was not showing through. My humor was non-existent at the time. I probably hardly laughed at anything, or if I did, it was fake, it wasn't real. And I got so depressed, and about a year home, I was just spending about 16 hours a week working. That's about all I could handle. And even then, I had to call home multiple times during shifts in order to make it through, because the anxiety was so bad. After work, I'd just come home and I would play video games or watch TV, something to just distract myself, because that's just the point I was at. I was just trying to survive. I put all my hopes into finding a medication, because everything I tried, from my own standpoint, my own therapy, it just was never enough. I never had a chance. And finally, after about a year and a half, I tried Prozac, which is one of the most commonly prescribed medications for anxiety and depression. In fact, it may even be number one. I started on the lowest dose, and for about the first month I was on, a dosage level, I'd have sore muscles and body aches, and I'd be in a lot of pain for about a month, and then my body would adjust. And, we raised the dose by 10 milligrams each time up until I got to about 50 milligrams. And so, that was 5 months right there of me in pain constantly, because I'm just trying to, give this medication a chance. But after my body adjusted that last time, I finally had enough relief that I could get stuff done. Between the amount of relief I got from the Prozac and my counseling, I was okay. Things weren't easy, but they were finally doable. I began to take on more stresses in my life at this point. I was finally getting better. I took a new job, one that was more difficult and demanding for me, but also more rewarding. Moved out of my parents' house finally at this point, and lived with some friends, which was a great help to me. Nothing was easy at this point, but it was doable. And things were okay for a while. And then about a year after I started the Prozac, I had somewhat of a relapse again. Between the medication and the counseling, it still wasn't quite enough for me to have my normal life, to live a normal life. And I really started to struggle again. And in the next episode, I'll talk about that struggle, what triggered it, and what solutions I found at this point that helped me continue forward. And even an unconventional therapy that I found that helped me significantly with my anxiety. I hope in this video you found something beneficial to you, to a family member, or a friend. Please listen to part 5 as I explain the next segment in my story.